for joining us today as we give you a little taste of Business Central. I'm Katie Graham, and I'm joined by my partner in crime, Pat Bostic, and we are your dynamics duo here at Cargas.
Hey, it's great to be here with you today. I'm excited to talk to our audience here about what Business Central is and what it can do and how it can help their business.
Me too, Pat. So why don't we get into what our agenda looks like for today? So we're here really to help you guys understand and visualize the amazing capabilities that Business Central has to offer. We will show you how easy it is to navigate throughout Business Central and the native Microsoft integrations, and then the amazing power of Microsoft AI. So before we get into the demo, let's set the stage for addressing what even is Microsoft Business Central.
That's a great question, Katie, and it comes up in every sales cycle that we're in.
That it definitely does.
Yeah. First of all, just the term Dynamics 365 Business Central rings a lot of bells with a lot of questions, because Dynamics 365 in itself is a product line from Microsoft that contains not only Business Central as small mid-market ERP, but it also contains enterprise level ERP, such as Dynamics Finance and Supply Chain, CRM apps like customer engagement, sales, customer insights, field service, HR, etc., are all apps within Dynamics 365. All Dynamics 365 apps, including Business Central, are total cloud apps that run in Microsoft's Azure cloud. With that, all the tools that come with Azure, such as things like the Power Platform for Power Apps for citizen level development, low code, no code, Power BI, Power Automate for advanced workflows, and all the integration with the Microsoft 365 tools that you know and love today are all part of the out-of-the-box solution with Dynamics 365 Business Central.
So it really sounds like it helps small and mid-market companies, connect everything, like from, one entirely single, easy-to-use application, allowing them to truly adapt faster, work smarter, and perform better. Does that sound accurate?
That's accurate, Katie. And the other thing with that, too, is that because it's a cloud solution, because it's meant for the small mid-market, Microsoft knows that companies in that small mid-market space have a lot of growth potential, and there's a lot of movement going on where, maybe one day you're a $25 million company, but you've got a 5-year plan to double that, get to 50 million. Some companies, even more aggressive, may go into 3 figures. Well, with Business Central, you've got a solution that is geared to grow with you and scale as you grow.
Awesome.
So while we're talking about some of that scaling and growing and things like that, it's a good time to cover off on some of the out-of-the-box capabilities that come with Business Central. And I want to make it very clear on how Business Central is sold. There are 2 license levels, Essential and Premium. With the Essentials license, you get everything that you see on this screen, from all the core accounting that a company could require, from GL, AP, AR, fixed assets, cash flow forecasting, the ability to do bank recs and all your bank transactions. All that is included. Everything with a sales and marketing, or I'll call it a light CRM, is included in the application. All functions for sales order management and delivery, purchasing, inventory, including WMS, supply chain planning and availability. So total MRP and inventory planning. Project management comes along with it. Now, if you are a manufacturer, you may want to upgrade to that premium license, because that will give you manufacturing, and I'm talking about full manufacturing here, and the ability to do production orders, bills of material, routings, be able to plan that across work centers with resources and, constrained capacity planning that is all part and parcel of the planning engine within Business Central. And then for those products that a company may make, they may also service them. So Business Central provides service management to do repair orders and repair parts and things like that for any range of customers.
Wow, it really is truly a robust system, it sounds like. So, in addition to today's demo that we are going to be performing for you guys, Cargas also has a complete demo center with multiple short videos highlighting additional functionality within Business Central. Some of these videos actually touch on the distribution manufacturing functionality that Pat just mentioned, as well as Microsoft's powerful business intelligence tool, Power BI. So let us show you how easy it is to access this demo center for those additional demo videos.
Yeah, so Katie, I'm just going to click on the link here in the PowerPoint, and you can see it brings us right up into the demo center. And voila, a lot of these I've already recorded that are out there. We plan to add on this on a regular basis, but this is our demo center, and you can access any of the Business Central demos that we have out there.
As well as I see Power BI you scrolled down to.
Yes, and I did do one of them, Katie. I did a Power BI one as well.
Awesome.
So feel free to go in, check this out as you please, and be happy to hear about your comments and your experience with our demo center.
Awesome. Thanks, Pat, for showing that. So, Pat, there is so much interest in a cloud ERP system these days, specifically around Dynamics 365 Business Central. One of the first thing every customer says that we talk to is, this looks really modern and easy to use. Can you go into reviewing some of those features around navigation, user experience, and personalizing?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks, Pat.
Yeah, let's check that out. I have got Business Central running here. Because it's a Azure cloud, I can access it through any browser that I want. If you're using Edge or Google Chrome, that Firefox, they all work just fine. Any of the navigational arrows that are already in the browser still work within the app. Anything from zooming in or zooming out of the screen, you can certainly do all that, just like with any app in any browser that you might have. Now, when Business Central presents itself, I'm looking here at a nice looking page that comes up that has got a lot of information on it. But before we scroll down and get into that, some of that information, I want to explain a couple things about how Business Central is constructed for the user. So it is role-based, and I'm in here as a power user, like a business manager, kind of a role page where out of the box, it's giving me access to financial apps, cash management apps, anything to do with sales orders, quotes, invoices, same with purchasing. They're all of interest to me. But if I was maybe an accountant or a shipping and receiving manager, rest assured there is a role for you as well. And you can see all the different roles that I have here out of the box that I can get into. And we could take a quick look at one that maybe we want to take a look at the accountant. Okay. And this is where, the settings are where I set the role, what company I'm in, because it's a multi-company system, Katie.
Oh, wow.
As well as multi-warehouse, multi-company, multi-currency, multi-language, multi-location in terms of accounting localizations for, you got companies in Belgium or Germany or Singapore, et cetera.
That's awesome. So like you said, it really can grow and scale with your business.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to bring up the accountant role page here, and you'll see here, if I look at the things up top, they've changed. Now I've got journals and, the ability to do general journal entry and cost accounting if I was going to go there. And as I look at my actions here, it's more accounting focused. AR, AP stuff, and even the tiles are showing everything accounting related. Okay. So that's every user is assigned one of these roles.
Okay.
Doesn't mean they have to stay there. And it doesn't mean that the list of the out of the box can't be extended by yourself to create unique roles. Okay. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to bring back my business manager role page again, and we'll get on with the demo because there's a lot of things I want to show you here on how it makes life easy for a user. We've been told many times, my God, this is so easy to use. It's like, I don't even need really any kind of user training to be able to be productive out of the box with the system on day one. And I'm just navigating around. And we've heard that from other customers as well, that the ease of use is really key.
Yes, yes. Microsoft definitely thought of the user when they were creating Business Central. And that's very evident throughout their search functionality, their help, as well as their entire Learn and Documents provided.
Exactly. Now I'm here on my role page and I'm seeing some, information coming up, tells me my biggest sales order was for $9,000. These things are somewhat configurable. I sold 20 units of the conference table. Other things like, and these things scroll through here, my largest invoice, etc. I've got quick actions here. So if I want to go in and quickly enter a sales order, all I have to do is click on the quick action, and it's going to bring up the sales order form for me to put in customers and items. I have things that I've saved here as favorites. So I know I go into these all the time. And so without even having to look or search, if I wanted to get into chart of accounts, it's right there for me to click into. I don't even have to click down the finance caret here to see the chart of accounts. I saved it as a favorite.
That's awesome. So easy.
Yeah, it is. And there's no menus in here in Business Central. If there's something here that I'm looking for that I don't see on my screen, I can always come up here to the search. And maybe I want to do something with payments. And I'll just key in the term payment. Do I want to create vendor payments or register customer payments or work with payment terms? And so just by entering in a phrase, it's trying to figure out what I want to do on the current page or where else I may want to navigate to.
I could definitely see that being very helpful to a user.
Absolutely. Now, with this being a Microsoft app, you're familiar with the Office waffle here from your M365 Outlook or Teams. Well, when I click on that, you can see here I have access to all the other apps that I've licensed through Microsoft. Business Central becomes another one of those apps that appear under the waffle.
Oh, wow. So does it integrate with all of those?
Well, it does. Yes, it does. We're going to get into that in a minute.
Awesome.
In our next little segment. But this is a single sign-on system. So with Active Directory, if you're a user already in Microsoft 365, you don't need an additional sign-on to get into Business Central. They're all using the same Azure Directory sign-on.
Awesome.
For that. So we've covered a little bit on the role page. I want to scroll down this page a little bit because I want to show some of the things that are being surfaced here, like the analytical information like sales per month. Well, if I want to break that down and see what makes up that 14.9, I simply click on the number and there's the 3 invoices that make up the 13,900. If I want a detail of any of those amounts and where the transactions went, I can simply click on that. And it takes me into the detailed transactions where I can actually get right down and see the source document for that invoice that was created. So all these are very clickable, drillable tiles that are showing you a visual representation, telling me, hey, you got 22 sales orders out there. And again, click on that, and there's my 22 sales orders.
I really like how it draws your attention to some of those most important and the fact that you can customize in regards to personalizing it to what meets your biggest wants and drive.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, Katie, for customers. And so if I go up to my little settings cog here, there's a personalize button there that, for instance, I'm on my roll page here. And if I wanted to hide things on the roll page or maybe move things around, drag and drop them around, I can do that on the roll page. I could even add content to it if I want. And that's really a great thing to be able to do on the roll page. But let's look at that in terms of customers, okay? Like the customer table, or it could be the item table or the sales order table. First of all, I'm going to hide this little information pane that comes up on all these tables. And it's really kind of nice because it gives me a glance of what's inside. You know, it's telling me the current position for School of Fine Art, how many orders they've got out there, how many invoices are ongoing out there, what were their total number of posted shipments that happened, even down to their AR.
Oh, wow.
Without clicking into the record.
Yeah, again, a nice little snapshot it provides.
Yeah, and if I want to look at this, you know, I don't want to look at tiles, maybe just look at a list. I can do that. I can hide that information pane as well. Now, I'm looking at a list of all my customers. And of course, I can come in here and drill down into each one of these. And maybe I wanted to find out what the credit limit was for these customers. And I don't see it here, but I know that if I click on it, it's going to be in the record in there somewhere. So if I click on trade research, I can see there's the credit limit right there in the actual detailed customer form. But I'd like to have it on this list when it shows up. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to personalize again. I'm going to say, okay, we want to add a field. And let's say we want credit limit. And I'm going to put that right after salesman.
Wow, that
so
is
there we go.
Incredibly easy.
Yeah. And if I wanted to do any kind of analytical stuff on this page, I can simply click this analyze button, which shows up on every table list, sales orders, what have you. And if I wanted to do now some pivot table stuff, I can do it right here inside Business Central and do any kind of sorting and clicking and grouping that I would like to have analytical pages within my customer table.
Wow, that's really awesome. I mean, that doesn't even require you to go outside into Excel.
No, it really doesn't, which is something we can do that we're going to talk about in a second here.
Awesome.
So we also talked about the ability to search. And, you saw me come in here. I searched for customer payment, and it comes up and it brings me all that great stuff. But I can also, if I did, let's say customer payment, MENT. And yeah, it shows me all those things related to customer payments, but it also will come down here and say, hey, do you want to get into the Microsoft help? And it'll say, okay, how do I enable customer payments with payment services or create customer payments? And when you click on that, it takes you right into the Microsoft Business Central online help on how to do that.
So basically, you could go on vacation, forget your entire job, and be able to search it right here in this help.
Yes.
Is what I'm hearing.
That's a pretty good application there for that, Katie. The other thing I really like about the help is I don't need to search for a function. I can search for transactional activity. So let's say I've got a product. We'll call it, I've got a product that has sauce in the description, okay? And so it's not really going to find anything functional for sauce, but when I click on search company data for sauce, now here it comes back and there are 2 items there that have sauce in the description that it found for me in that search. If I wanted to make that search a little bit better, maybe I put in the term MENA. And now it's found items that have MENA in it. It found contacts and vendors that had MENA in it. If I had sales orders or invoices out there, it would list those as well.
Wow.
So it's searching through all the data you've got in Business Central with that.
So no more hunting and pecking.
Yep, exactly. It's exactly right. And you can get to that from using a Alt-Q hotkey or just going right up in here to the little magnifying glass within Business Central. So the last part about some navigation stuff, we talked about these cues that are showing up, giving you all the access to that great data. Other things on the role page that are coming up is, you know, if I've got any approvals through workflow, they're coming up here right on my role page. Any intercompany transactions, hey, Shopify stuff, you know, that's coming in. And then there's also some analytical graphs and charts that come into play here. These are real time with the data. I've even got a section here where I can put in as many accounts as I want, be able to track my favorite accounts, we'll call it. So I'm always looking to see how I'm doing petty cash, as an example. Well, there's all the transactions that make up that 76K of petty cash that are in there. And then, hey, I'm a business manager. Yeah, of course, I'm interested in seeing how I'm doing from a trial balance standpoint. And Power BI is natively linked with Business Central. And so this is a Power BI report. If I go do a little drop down here and go into select, I can select the actual reports of Power BI that I would have created that I want to show on my role page.
Okay.
And it'll scroll through them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. So that is a little overview of how to navigate around Business Central.
Well, thank you so much for that, Pat. That really gives an amazing understanding in regards to just what the very first page full of dashboards and information and how easy it is to have it at your fingertips as a user. So, Pat, you kind of enticed me a little bit with showing me that Office Waffle and seeing what other Microsoft programs that I'm using every single day and what we hear all of our users using as well. So talk to me a little bit about what it integrates into natively.
Well, I think that's really a good lead in, Katie. The out-of-the-box integration with M365 apps, I think, is one of the key features within Business Central, because as we all know, everybody uses Excel.
Oh, yeah.
No one's not going to use Excel because they get a new ERP system. They're going to want to continue to use it, but they've got expectations.
Yes.
And they want to be able to have their data be in there and be able to navigate to that easily. They're also not going to, they're using Outlook. Well, let's look at a way that Business Central can extend the use of Outlook. And then, of course, Teams. Now, we know not everybody uses Teams, but a lot of people do. And when you have Teams, you're integrated with Business Central within Teams. In fact, if you're a Teams user, you have direct access to Business Central with no additional license.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to go back into our friendly customer list. I'm going to turn off the Analyze button here, and I just have the list. Now, let's say if I've got thousands of customers, you know, maybe managing credit limits and doing or other things might be better done in Excel. Well, every page you bring up in Business Central is going to have this little icon here that says, how do you want to share this page? Do you want to open it in Excel? Do you want to edit in Excel? I said edit in Excel for my choice. And you can see, yeah, do I want to enable editing? Well, if I say yes, it adds in the Business Central Dynamics add-in to Excel. And right now it's coming in. It's with this add-in, there's all my customers. The add-in makes sure that any rules that were applied to me in Business Central for my user, let's say I'm a salesperson and I can't modify the credit limit. I won't be able to modify it in Excel either.
Oh, that's fantastic.
If I was told that you can't even see the credit limit, and if I'm a sales guy and I download or I open an Excel, I won't see the credit limit field.
I love that it maintains those rules.
Yeah, it's really cool with that. And I can go in here, I can edit the data in here if I want to come in and maybe put a new tax code on the customer or things like that. I have to, if I put one in here that does not exist in Business Central, when I click publish, it'll give me an error back saying we could not publish that change because the taxing body does not exist in Business Central.
Oh, that's so helpful.
So I can do this, whether it could have been items, could have been, sales orders, what have you. The Excel integration is throughout Business Central.
So it doesn't even, when we publish it, it looks like it immediately goes back up to it. It's not one of those Excel documents that you have to import and export back and forth.
Nope. And you're going to see that with the other integrations as well. It is real time when that happens. We'll take a look at something in Outlook here in just a minute. But before we go there, I want to go back into this customer table again, because I want to just pick one of these customers here, and we'll pick PJB Enterprises. Now, I may have maybe, if it's Katie or another person that I work with in Teams, maybe I'd like them to, I want them to go in and look at this account. Okay. I've noticed some issues. Well, I could call up, that person and say, hey, check out this PJB Enterprise account, or I can share to Teams. And what's going to happen is I'm going to I have a link here now to this customer, PJB Enterprises, that I want to share with Alicia. And I want her to check out the payments and credit. So I'm going to share that to Teams. And now when I go into Teams for Alicia, there is the customer card that I was on in Business Central that I sent to Alicia. And if she wants to get the details of that, she can simply click on that little button in Teams, and it's opening up the customer card in Business Central inside of Teams for her to go in, analyze, make changes right from within Teams and never leaving Teams.
That's awesome. So she can maintain her business and keep working about her day like normal.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. So since we are talking about integrations with M365, let's end with Outlook.
Okay.
Because, Kate, everybody uses Outlook.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I've got Outlook here. And again, there's my Office waffle. Obviously, Business Central's in there.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to, let's say I get an email here that says, hey, we need to buy 20 pieces of these chairs, 20 of these chairs. Hey, I might get emails in all the time from customers, and maybe I have the email open in one window and I've got Business Central open in another window, and I'm just keying in a new order, going like that. I'm going to open this in its own window just to make it a little bit bigger. But let's say hypothetically we get that email in. With Business Central, I can open up Business Central from within the actual email. The first thing I want to do is I want to find out who this contact is and are they already a customer. And so what Business Central is doing in its little add-in here, it says, okay, I've tied that email to PJB Enterprises. Oh, by the way, here's their outstanding AR with us. How many orders and invoices and shipments do they have going on with us right now, their customer stats for sales and service, payments, all that great information. What makes this information even better is that I can do more stuff with it. So maybe I want to create a sales order. And while I'm in Outlook, so it read through the body of the email, it says, hey, I've identified this item as an item that you may want to buy because it was in the email. And yes, that is correct. Oh, by the way, they also bought at one point in time this other product from you. And so maybe you want to think about adding that or not. It doesn't matter. But we're just going to add the item that's in the email. And at this point, what it's done is come in here, filled in all the header for the sales order header from the customer, filled in the item, and I'm just going to put in the quantity they want to order of 20. And that's it. I have now created that sales order that if I go back into Business Central, and let's go to our sales orders. Sales order 1027 is the last one I just did in Outlook and for a quantity of 20.
Wow. Not only how real time, but allowing people to work within Outlook and not having to go back and forth within the different systems. This is definitely one of the key features that separates Business Central from any other small to mid-market ERP system.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks, Pat, for highlighting all those awesome native integrations into Business Central through the Microsoft 365. So I know Business Central also has functionality built into process like sales orders, quotes, invoices, and customers. I saw you clicking around a little bit there. What if a customer already has a CRM system?
Okay, that's a good point, but nothing to really demo here, but to talk about. If a customer is using Dynamics 365 Sales, there is some integration that can come out of the box that allows you to do quote to cash.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a video on that in our demo center on how that works. If you'd like to take a look at it.
Awesome. I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah. And really what you're doing is you're setting up the integration through a Microsoft Dataverse setup. Dataverse is part of the Power Platform, allows you to integrate multiple systems, but I can integrate and I can synchronize products, customers, salespeople, and I can enter a sales quote in CRM and have it be a sales order to process through ship and invoice in Business Central. So that way I'm using an integrated system with CRM and Business Central.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks
Check
for
out
that.
the video.
I definitely will. So everything I hear and see these days is all about artificial intelligence or AI and machine learning.
Yeah.
The AI stuff is honestly so cool, but is it really a practical application, and can businesses really use it and benefit from it in their ERP system?
It's the buzzword of today.
That it is.
AI, machine learning, all those topics. And Microsoft, being the innovator they are, is building them into that function, building that functionality because it's a cloud app in Azure, building that functionality into the actual functional ERP systems and enhancing it all the time. A couple different things, excuse me. I can start on the items, and let's take a look at the sales and inventory forecast that comes as part of the out-of-box solution with Business Central, but relies on Azure Machine Learning and the Azure Machine Learning Studio to be able to process detailed experiments on cash flow, sales and inventory forecasting, et cetera. So when I'm in an item and I scroll down here, the item card, I'm on this table or this desk, I can see here I've got a forecast going out 6 months. It's an inventory forecast telling me, yeah, you're in a negative inventory position. Yeah, there's going to be reasons why. If I wanted to look at the associated sales forecast for that over the next 6 months, yeah, I'm selling more than what I have. Okay. The planning engine is going to take care of that for me and suggest whether I need to make or buy to be able to satisfy that requirement. But where did this information come from? It's real time. It's looking at history that's out there. So if I want to go into the forecast settings here, one of the things I want to point out is you can see here, there's the Azure AI gallery that's out there. There's an experiment that I have out there in Azure AI that if you look over here under the machine learning tab, this experiment's set up for me. I can evaluate it. I can initialize the model. I can score the model over time for accuracy and things like that. We're not here to get into detail about that today, but the end result was that forecast for sales and inventory showing on the item card. And here you can see where I'm setting up some of the parameters for that forecast experiment. I'm saying, yeah, 12-month horizon, stock out warning at 3 months. There's my Azure access key and URL. I'm willing to accept up to a 35% variance in the forecast, and it's going to expire after 7 days, and I'm looking at 24 months of history. Now, for those of you in demand forecasting, you'll be aware of what the different time series models are that you can use to generate that forecast. And that's where that magic happens for that. So that is built right into the item card to be able to use that information.
That's great.
As you see fit to manage your business. Now, some of the other areas that AI is in there. If you remember, I don't know if you caught this earlier, we have a little tab here or a little showing here the number of sales invoices predicted to be overdue. That also uses Azure Machine Learning to do that. So when I click into that, these are the 5 invoices that Business Central and Azure Machine Learning predicted might be overdue based on varying parameters and looking back into history. And for that tab, I can come up here at any point in time and update those payment predictions, or it can run on a scheduled basis.
Wow, so it's really taking into consideration those customers who have a tendency of always being late.
Yep.
It's alerting us in advance so that way we can do our planning ahead of time.
Yep, exactly. And there's a late payment prediction setup that, again, looks very similar to what you just saw for the sales and inventory forecast. There's a threshold, there's a model quality. I can enable the predictions or not enable them. And what Azure subscription is this going to use to be able to do this.
Okay.
And I can create multiple models within this.
That's great.
I can do the same thing for cash flow, Katie. So there's my cash flow setup. Again, hey, there's that Azure AI gallery that's going to open up, excuse me, one of these experiments. And here, again, I'm telling it the historical periods, the variance that I'm willing to set to accept, all on cash flow. And so now if I wanted to go into, let's say, I want to go into the cash flow forecast. Use our handy dandy little, you see here, I can have multiple forecasts set up. I'm going to drill into the default one that I've got. And I'm going to say, these are all the things that I want to consider adding into my cash flow when I generate the worksheet. And so I generated the worksheet. It's also gone out to Azure when I suggest worksheet lines. And as I scroll down here through all these cash flow forecasts, I can see they're coming from receivables and payables and maybe sales orders or tax, but there's also entries coming in from Azure AI that are figuring into my cash flow forecast. Okay. So we hit on inventory and sales. We hit on late payment. We've hit on cash flow forecast. Let's talk quickly here about the latest and greatest in AI, and that's Copilot.
Oh, yes. I've seen that bit popping up in my Outlook,
Yeah.
on Teams, everywhere.
You hear it everywhere. I want to go to my item card for this, and I'm going to select an item that I've used here before. And I want to click and go into the detail of this item. And you can see here, I've got a description called Mina Harissa Spicy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cooking sauce.
Okay.
And that's the description I've got. But I've also got a lot of attributes here that it's kosher, it's soy-free, it's all natural, it's gluten-free,
Mm-hmm.
blah, 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 all the good things about that product. Now, that's great. And if I was selling this on Shopify, or I had a customer-facing customer portal, customers were ordering off of, Mina Harissa Spicy just does not do it for me.
No,
Okay?
same here.
I want to see something a little bit better. So what I've got here is I can generate marketing text with Copilot.
Oh.
So Copilot, I'm going to create a new draft of this product with Copilot. And so it's going to come up, and right now it's creating a draft. Spice up your life with Mina Harissa Spicy, and all the different things that it made up about this description that, man, I feel a lot better pumping this up to Shopify with this kind of a description. And it also looked through all those attributes and put in the terms like vegan and gluten-free and made it really cool and exciting. But maybe I want to change the tone from inspiring to creative. Okay. And I'm going to regenerate that text. And so now it's come up with a new one. And I can do this to my heart's content till I find the one that I want that's the right mix. And the beauty about this is, now that I have that, we'll just keep it. And so now, if I'm in Shopify, which I'll show you later on, that description goes automatically up to Shopify. And that's the description that they see on the product, not Mina Harissa Spicy.
So I think you just told me that Business Central has officially turned me into a marketer.
Correct. And it's a lot more creative, at least for me, than I could ever be.
Same here.
On my own. And I've used Copilot to generate emails because it's in Outlook.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's in CRM. So yeah, it's making its way into ERP for a lot of good functional areas, and that's being expanded on every new release.
That's awesome.
I know the new release coming out right now coming out in April has rolled it into the bank rec functionality.
Oh, wow.
So
it's definitely expanding. And as you can see, it's very helpful across different industries. And if you don't have the budget to have a whole marketing department, you may even find that aspect very useful. Yeah. So besides everything that you covered so far, Pat, one thing that you kind of touched on was about e-commerce there. And I heard about Shopify. So how has Microsoft embraced the SMB market and its journey with e-commerce? And, everything is being sold online these days, and it's complicated and costly to integrate e-commerce and ERP is some of the things that I've heard. But is that really the case?
Yeah, it really is the case, Katie. And Microsoft has put into Business Central the ability to connect to Shopify directly. You're able to come in here. In fact, you'll see it right here on my home screen. I've got a Shopify drop down here that I can enter in my Shopify shops. So I happen to have a Shopify account up here that I'm listing as the account that I want to use. And when I drill into that shop, I can say, yep, I'm enabling Shopify integration. How do I want to sync items? Do I want to sync them with attributes? Do I want to sync them with variants that are there? Do I want the pricing to come up? Am I synchronizing customers? Order synchronization. So an order that's in Shopify, it's going to come back down to Business Central and so forth. Do I want to include inventory availability in this Shopify store? So yeah, I'm putting that right in there. There's the link to my Shopify store that I put in. And again, other things, I'm talking about customers and products. So these are here's a list of the products that I wanted to bring up into my Shopify store. Okay. And once I set these up, all these things are going to come in. They are going to be synchronized. I'm talking about customers, products, orders, refunds and returns. Can even do gift cards.
Wow.
And track transactions and the payouts that are there. So yeah, it's cool. It's there. It's out of the box. And let's take a quick look to end on this with what it looks like to buy something in Shopify.
Okay.
And how's it get back down to like a Business Central? So let me bring up my Shopify store here. And I think you'll remember some of the, these Mina items that I've got on here.
Yep.
And different items that I put in that I might want to sell in Shopify. Okay. This is my actual store. So if I click on the Mina Harissa, and I want to order a couple of these, it's letting me do that. It's not telling me that it's out of stock, where some of the items on here are already sold out.
Oh.
Because it knows the stock level in Business Central.
Wow. All that real-time data.
It's all
flowing back and forth.
It is real time. So let's order 2 of those. I'm going to add it to the cart. And I'm going to check out. I'm going to put my email address in. You notice I'm not entering a customer number or anything like that in here.
Yeah.
Put my email address in. We'll call it. I'll put my address in because it's got to be shipped, and it's either going to be standard or economy. I'm going to go with the standard shipping because it'll get there a little bit quicker. And I have a dummy account for a credit card, so and I'm going to pay. So now that order's been entered into Shopify. Now, in a real life environment, I'm going to have synchronizations happening, turned on, happening automatically. For the purposes of this, we can come up here. We're going to take a look at the orders that have come in, and I'm going to actually come in here and sync these orders. So hang on for a second. I'm going to go to my shop, and I'm going to, again, this will all be turned on. I'm going to sync my orders. And I'm going to sync them from that Shopify store. I could have multiple Shopify stores.
Okay.
And these are different things I could filter down what to import. But let's just put the orders in there. Let's bring what's in there. It found one that it processed. So now if I go to my Shopify orders, there's the latest one to come in. There's the Harissa spicy sauce, or a quantity of 2.
Yeah.
That I had ordered. And any shipping costs, fulfillment orders, or things like that are all cool. And I can now, it's already created a sales order for it. So if I wanted to go to the actual Business Central sales order now, I simply click on the order that was generated, and there's my Business Central sales orders with the associated Shopify order number.
Wow.
And it added in the standard shipping cost.
Makes
and now
it
I
so
can
easy.
come up and invoice this order, and I'm good to go.
That is incredibly easy. And I could see how any business would very much benefit if they're doing any form of e-commerce, having that integration being as seamless as it is would be very beneficial.
Yeah, I agree.
Awesome.
So that's it for today, Katie.
Yeah. Wow, Pat, you really covered and gave us a great overview in regards to some of the key features that we hear our customers, driving their needs, driving their searching for, looking for a replacement ERP solution. And I think just highlighting, all the different out of the box functionality that Business Central has to offer is one of the biggest differentiators it has among other ERP systems. So we hope you enjoyed today's demo video. And like we showed you in the very beginning, we have a whole demo center. If you are more interested, please check out the other videos. Otherwise, we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.
Thanks.